Do you ever feel like doing that to someone who's getting on your nerves? They're saying something that's just really off-putting and you want to scratch their eyeball out, put them in their place? Yeah, I feel you. Well, maybe you're feeling that way too, and you've clicked in this video expecting the unexpected. Isn't that what this video is titled? 5 unexpected nail care hacks that really work. They really work. With age, certain medical conditions, certain medications, or just our occupation and what we do with our hands, brittle nails become a lot more common. You can't scratch your enemy's eyeballs out if you've got brittle nails. Not to mention, maybe you deal with hangnails, you've got rough, ragged cuticles, you got nail ridging, and you've got peeling nails, splitting nails. What can you do to start turning a corner on your nails? You'd be surprised. No, it doesn't involve gelatin, okay? It doesn't involve eating gelatin. So forget about that. If you want to eat gelatin, that's up to you. But if you're eating gelatin expecting for a nail transformation, you might be waiting a while. I can tell you this, nails become brittle as part of the aging process, but also due to disruption in the integrity of the nail fold skin, and that allows for more moisture to get up under the nail and disrupt healthy nail growth, leading to brittle nails. And of course, with age, our skin doesn't retain moisture as well, and our nails are a lot more vulnerable to dehydration, brittleness. This catches people by surprise, but actually it's cutting your fingernails. Cutting your fingernails will help them to be stronger and to grow in a more healthy fashion, I should say, because the longer the nail, the more vulnerable it becomes to dehydration. There's just more surface area for it to lose water and become brittle, not to mention more surface area to come in contact with things that dry out the nail, whether it be harsh cleaning products, hand sanitizers that can be drying, you name it. The longer the nail, the greater the brittleness. So keep your nails trimmed really short. Trim them frequently. Keep them trimmed short. It really can make a huge difference in allowing for healthier nail growth. Not to mention if they get too long, it kind of slows down nail growth in general. And some people might be dealing with nail issues like a little bubble up under their nail, which is called onycholysis. Check out my video on onycholysis. But if you're trying to get that to grow out and go away, well, I suggest trimming the nail short. It'll happen a lot more efficiently. All right, the second game-changing tip, aside from keeping your nails trimmed short, is to, and you're gonna, I already know, you're gonna reach through, claw my eyeball out, all right? Just reach on through, tap on the glass like a cat, right? Claw it out. You already know. You probably already know. I'm going to tell you what I tell you in 99% of my videos where I give some sort of skincare product recommendation. Trust me, you're going to want to get some petroleum jelly. I don't make the rules, okay? I don't make the rules. I'm just here to report the facts. You're going to want to start nail slugging. Slugging is a popular approach to the facial skincare routine, the nighttime routine specifically, whereas the last step you slug yourself. You look like a little greasy, wet, moist slug going to bed with a face full of petroleum jelly. It locks everything in, really reduces transepidermal water loss, but try doing this for your fingernails. Just do it like every night for 2 weeks, and it'll really help them turn a corner because it helps reduce water loss from the nail plate and around the folds, and it helps to protect the skin around the nails, allowing for reduction in access, if you will, of water as well as other irritants. This is especially true if you come in contact with water frequently on your bare hands throughout the day. That really can just do a number on your fingernails. If you have recently removed some sort of nail cosmetic adornment, artificial nail, glue-on nails, whatever, it can leave your nails pretty dry, brittle, prone to breakage, papery thin. Get yourself some petroleum jelly and get on that slugging game. It really can make a difference. In addition to petroleum jelly, I do suggest moisturizing your hands frequently with a moisturizer that contains urea or glycolic acid or lactic acid. These really can help strengthen the nail plate significantly and get things back on track. Not to mention they help soften and gently exfoliate dry, rough, built-up skin around the nail fold, allowing for the barrier there to perform better in protecting the nail. They help improve moisture retention in these areas so that the natural turnover processes of the skin around the nail is more efficient. When it comes to healthy nail growth, this might come as a surprise to you, but the name of the game is good blood flow. Good blood flow to the nails is really going to help them to grow out. So that can be something as simple as tapping your fingers frequently, using your hands a lot, provided the nail is trimmed short. This can actually help get you faster fingernail growth. As a matter of fact, I used to play the violin. Not what I was meant to do in life, all right? It was very hard. It was very difficult. I really struggled with playing the violin because it's just, in my opinion, difficult. But Itzhak Perlman would probably disagree. Anyway, I always noticed when I was playing the violin that my left hand fingernails would grow so fast from the fiddling. And yeah, that's why, because using the hand, you increase blood flow to the nails and it increases nail growth. But you can biohack that. No ice baths involved. You can biohack that a bit further and get yourself minoxidil. Yeah, Rogaine. Apply it around the nails and the cuticles daily, and within a week you can start appreciating that the nails grow faster. And it's all due to the fact that minoxidil increases vasodilation, allowing for better blood flow to the nails. This is proven by small studies, okay, so no huge randomized controlled trials, but it definitely can work. And so minoxidil, if you're not aware, is a topical medication used to treat hair loss. You put it on your scalp, but if you put it on your fingernails, it can make them grow faster. Now, an unwanted side effect of topical minoxidil is that if it gets on the sides of your face, it's going to grow hair where you don't necessarily want it. Same holds true for putting it on your fingers. You might touch your face or touch somebody else and, repeatedly, and then they, start having some unwanted hair in those areas. So you might instead, when you're using it, put it on at night and cover your hands with gloves. That can help it to stay localized to that area and not transfer elsewhere. A word of warning, minoxidil can be toxic to your pets, okay? So if you've got small pets, this just might not be a good idea. Small pets have been known to be harmed. In the veterinary literature, you can find cases of this. So I'm just warning you, okay? I wouldn't want anything bad to happen to your pets. But not everyone has pets, and they're like, okay, moving on, that doesn't apply to me. As long as you know. But it definitely can help. It definitely can help. But, sort of a poor man's version of that with no side effects is to just tap your fingers a lot, and that increased blood flow that way can certainly help. And then the last tip I've given before, but if you don't watch the video on it, then you'll miss it, and then maybe it'll become a problem for you and you'll forget the video exists to go back and watch, and you'll ask me for a tip on it, and I'll have to remind you that there's a tip video already in the tip jar of videos that I have. If you ever get a hangnail, it's like Chinese water torture. Drip, drip, drip. It's the worst little physical discomfort to have a hangnail because it seems to catch on everything. You seem to get them more in the winter time when you're wearing certain sweaters, and it's just ow, ow, ow. Hangnails, however, you do not want to chew on, bite, try and pull off with your teeth. I know it's tempting because they always seem to pop up when you're somewhere far away from home where you have no resources available but the teeth in your own head. And let me tell you, you don't want to do that because it's going to expose the vulnerable skin underneath. Not to mention the critters in your mouth can cause an infection around your nail. So don't bite it off. But what you can do is either put some petroleum jelly on it to protect it, allow it to heal faster, but you can also get those little nail scissors that come in the manicure kits. Trim the hangnail so that it's not as long, because sometimes they get real long, they're real long and thready, and those are like really annoying. Trim it so it's not that long, and then get yourself a little super glue, put a tiny little dot of super glue and just physically glue it down. That glue will just keep it in place, prevent it from snagging on everything, allow you to forget about it so you can go on with your life, sweaters and all, and then the skin underneath will start to come in, the healthy skin will start to come in, and it'll just grow out and be a thing of the past, But yeah, hangnails are a nuisance, and they're a lot more common, like if you do a lot of wet work, damage to the cuticles, certain manicure practices can lead to their formation for sure. So those are my unexpected nail care hacks that really can work, especially if you're dealing with brittle nails, slow nail growth. But as I say in all of my videos, it's super important to really have some idea of why it is you have the problems that you have, okay? Because you know what they say, what works for one person doesn't work for another. And one of the main reasons that is the case is because what's wrong with one person is not what's wrong with the other person. They just have the same symptom, but they don't have the same underlying problem. So for example, you might have dry, brittle nails because you're in your 60s, you've gone through menopause a while ago. It's just a feature of age for the nails to get more brittle, more prone to dryness with age. Maybe, however, you've got slow nail growth and brittle nails because you do a lot with your hands as part of your occupation and they're exposed to a lot of stuff. Maybe you like to kind of keep them long and then they get snagged on things. Or maybe you have a thyroid disease, okay? Maybe it's your thyroid. Or maybe it's the way that you pursue different cosmetics for your nails. Gel nails, and they've left the nails very papery thin. Or humor me this, because I am a doctor of nails, and yeah, it's a legit career path called a dermatologist. There are diseases that affect the nails and can really do a number on nail growth and nail strength. For example, lichen planus, an inflammatory skin condition, can affect the nails. Psoriasis, having atopic dermatitis, a form of eczema, can affect the hands. You can get a hand eczema, and as that inflammation on the fingers, it's called dyshidrosis, those little water blisters that itch and leak clear fluid, as that's erupting, that inflammation, well, it starts to creep on in around the nail folds and can leave you with brittle nails. Maybe just a couple of fingers of the more affected hand, or all your fingers. Or maybe you have a nail fungal infection, although, as a reminder, nail fungus, common for the toenails, rare for the fingernails. So if you go to a doctor, especially if they're not a nail doctor like a derm, and you say, look at my nails, they're kind of weird, they're not growing right, and they just look at them and they say, oh, you got onychomycosis, you need another opinion. No hate on them. I mean, nail disease is not something that most physicians get much training on outside of dermatologists. So to say it's nail fungus without, yeah, it needs to be evaluated properly. You know, there are a lot of things that could be going on. And nail fungus for the fingernail is just not common. I'm not saying it never happens, okay? There are certain situations where it could happen, but more often than not, it's something else in the fingernail. So don't accept that. Try and get in to see a dermatologist for a proper nail evaluation. It can tell you a lot of information with very few tests, but sometimes more involved tests are needed, like a nail biopsy. It's disappointing when people say they went to a dermatologist for their nails and they were just told to take, you know, whatever supplement that the derm happens to be selling at their office, and no proper evaluation, no physical exam of the nail, no blood work or anything was ordered to rule out this, that, or the other. Yeah, I hear you. That's really a travesty, because what is even the point of a dermatologist at that point? Because we're the specialty that should be very well informed, very adept at really complicated nail disorders. Anyway, y'all, I hope this 5 unexpected tips for your nails video was informative and that you enjoyed it. But on the end slate, it's going to be a video. The production value is so high quality that it's going to be up for some sort of award. It's all about onycholysis, which, if you're not familiar with onycholysis, I suggest diving into this video maybe when you don't have work the next day, because your mind is just going to be racing. You're going to be on a high after you watch this video. I mean, you're going to be so alive that I don't think you're going to be able to focus on that Excel spreadsheet that you're being required to complete as part of your job. Okay, so keep that in mind when you click into one of my videos. I'm not responsible for any activating effects it may have on your mind. All right, racing thoughts of, you know, saving the world one fingernail at a time. But click with caution, because it's a doozy. All right, y'all, I'll put that one on the end slate if you're feeling frisky. But if you like this one, give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and as always, don't forget, sunscreen and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye.